Hello and welcome once again back to Atlas Shrugged, the Avatar The Last Airbender podcast. Oh, up top.
I'm Kaylee.
And I'm AJ, and we are here to talk about Avatar with a twist. See, we are married folks, two married folks, originally from the Midwest and now living a little more westward. And Kaylee, I've never seen this show. I mean, I saw the episode that we're talking about right now, but I've never seen the show all the way through. But that's not the case for you.
No, it's my favorite show. I watched it in the original airing on Nickelodeon and many times since.
And we've been doing this podcast since 2019, 2020?
2020.
2020. We've been doing this podcast since 2020. The concept of the show is still true. I still haven't gotten through all of this. So you're getting my first reactions to it, and you're getting Kaylee's astute, trained wisdom.
And fittingly, we now live in the Rocky Mountains. Gateway to the Rockies, actually, as we enter the Earth Nation.
You know, I saw an Earthbender as I was checking out at the corner store downstairs.
You saw an Earthbender?
Mm-hmm. Boom.
It's fight night.
In one corner, we have a Boulder, who's much, much older.
The Boulder feels conflicted.
The Boulder talks about himself in the third person.
Welcome to a very special episode.
It's always very special.
This one's particularly special.
Why do you say that?
It's the introduction of my favorite character, that's all.
Kaylee's been saying, wait till you meet Toph. And I guess I see what the big deal with her is. Get it, little ableist joke there.
And man, are we in for him as the series goes on.
That's not the end of the ableist jokes?
No, for sure not. The representation is excellent. Toph's character is very thoroughly written. I look forward to all future episodes.
Who's Toph again?
Come on now.
Nah.
So welcome back. Before we jump into this episode, let's catch up.
Yeah, so, Kaylee, you played any good video games lately?
I mean, if you mean Pokemon Unite, yes.
You guys should watch her play Pokemon Unite. She goes beast mode.
Candace Creed, invite me to your team.
Her trainer number is 100 because she keeps it 100 at that game.
If you're talking about
I don't think I'm charming the pants off of anyone here.
I think you're talking about my fair play points, which really just means I didn't quit in the middle of a match. That's how you get deducted.
No, I don't know anything.
I also didn't call people nasty names over the voice chat.
You call them nasty names.
Because that's just bad culture. I don't care if it is video game culture. Anyway, the other video game I did play recently is Quest for Balance. And while if you, like me, were hoping that this Avatar The Last Airbender video game would feel like finally you had the elements at your fingertips, go rub some dirt on that wound, because...
Raise your hand if you played this game. Raise your hand if you could make it 25 minutes through this game. Oh my gosh, we were so excited to go pick it up.
And it's just miserable.
It's terrible.
The voice acting is fine. It's far cheesier and of less substance than the actual show, but the voice acting, they did a good job trying to match those characters. Because they brought some of the
people back, right? Or did they not?
I honestly didn't look, but the voices seem similar. And the art style is lovely, I think. Not too complicated, but...
Yeah, and the cel-shaded graphics were pretty nice. And then the intro comes on, and it's, the intro to the show, and we're getting excited. We had just got home from Target. We're trying this out. The trailer made it look really good.
And maybe we should have read like any actual gameplay reviews first
man.
because it's just not a fun experience.
Well, when it first came out, there was not a whole lot of literature on it. Like, there weren't a whole lot of people like reviewing it or whatever, like a lot of the games.
It's just, so I'm playing on the Nintendo Switch. I know it's available on other systems, and I doubt that it's better on other systems. But
Right, it's not like they made like different versions.
I made it all the way to the Kyoshi Warriors training, and then the first battle is with Sokka and Suki after you get trained, and it sucks. I haven't been able to get out of it.
Let's say there's a difficulty spike.
It's the fixed camera. The fixed camera, so you
gross.
like your moving is really awkward.
That's the thing. The trailer made it look like it was like an open world game. The trailer made it look like the elements, the whole world was at your fingertips, and that it was finally like the video game experience that like fans had been looking for.
No, it's straight up like the fixed camera is annoying and the frame rate absolutely sucks. So you will hit a button and it doesn't register, and then you're dead.
It's so gross.
And because there's no like between saves, I entered this battle and now I cannot move forward or backwards. I can't approach it differently. I can't try to level up one of my skills. I'm just stuck in this battle until I beat it. And I've done it without exaggerating. I've tried to get through it like 20 times and I'm just over it now.
We tried to like it. So, Kaylee, what's your verdict? Avatar: The Last Airbender, Quest for Balance.
Unbalanced as it can be.
Oh,
Thumbs
we
down.
had such high hopes.
Probably don't spend your
If
money
you're thinking
on it.
of buying it, don't buy it. I'm gonna see if people have caught on to how bad it is. In the meantime, enjoy this improvised jazz vocal from Kaylee. Kaylee, take it away. In the following jazz vocal, Kaylee will start scatting. Here, I'll start her off. Ski bop ba doo bop ba.
Because I'm sitting.
Sitting is the opposite of standing. Sitting is the opposite of running around. Hey! Sitting is a wonderful thing to do because you're sitting.
Sitting. Yeah, I don't know why he told you I would do jazz. I don't really
It
sing.
would be funny. I just thought it would be funny.
I'm no Gaga, okay?
Listen, nobody can be Gaga. But your career as a professional jazz scat musician,
Shot at this point.
it eludes comparison. Let's just say that.
So why don't we get into the real business of the Blind Bandit?
This is a fight you actually do want to replay over and over and over again.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. We actually watched this episode, and then it was a couple hours before I had to go to work, and then I was like, no, this episode's too cool. I don't think we can really do it like that. And so we tried to do it the next day, and then we got sick, but here we are.
But we're back and
Yeah.
talking about the intro to the rest of the series, as I consider it. This is
Oh, really?
Team Avatar full-fledged.
Because I got the sense that things were kind of picking up.
Well, in the previously on this episode, the focus is totally
on Lost. Yeah.
Aang needs an earthbending teacher. Somebody who waits and listens. So here we go.
Somebody who understands. Sorry, I just went ASMR on
Kick rocks. Anyway,
it. Literally, kick rocks. So this episode starts with pushy street vendors. We've been in street scenes, especially in earthbending towns. They all seem to like their cities, to like their dirt sidewalks and roads. Dirt as far as the eye can see. Dirt benders elude our heroes.
Sokka goes for Prada.
Sokka accessorizes. We learn at the beginning that Aang very much needs to find an earthbender tutor, and that he's kind of on a timeline. He's got a schedule to keep up with.
Definitely.
So they're walking through town, and this town must be all about earthbending, because he's like walking through and they're like, hey, you kids like earthbending? Kids like chucking rocks?
Why don't you go check out the school?
So they give it a try, right?
Yep. And Master Yu's Earthbending Academy is not what Aang is looking for.
And why is that?
Well, first off, he's there with a bunch of kids who, based on cartoon height, as we've established, determines age a lot of times. All these kids are younger than him. He gets pummeled by one giant rock and is like, you know what? No, I'm not going to commit to more classes. This is not the earthbending teacher for me. And then they overhear two boys leaving the academy talking about watching the Boulder fight.
They make earthbending at this point sound like a spectator sport, like it's pro wrestling or something. You want to go to Boulder Mania 6 or whatever it's called?
It's Earth Rumble 6.
Do they have snacks?
Probably.
Then I'm going. I'm there.
So you just kind of see Katara like run around the corner, get the information they're looking for out of these boys, and then, yes, it is fight night.
It's fight night. They walk in the stands, they take their seat, and it's kind of like a monster truck rally, like the Sunday.
It's like pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And there's a house favorite. Who's the house favorite?
Boulder's ready.
Yeah, so tell me about the Boulder.
Me tell you about the Boulder?
What's your impression?
I hardly know anything about the Boulder. The Boulder, well, he seems like a bruiser. He kind of wins a lot.
Yeah, so he
kind of looks like a character off of Death Clock, if you've ever seen that show. Metalocalypse?
Nope.
No?
Sorry about you.
It's not that good.
Okay, well. The Boulder is the house favorite. People are cheering for him. They're in the stands. He single-handedly fights.
He's selling t-shirts. He's selling pins. He's probably selling commemorative coins.
He's clearly got some fans in the audience. He fights off Big Bad Hippo. Fire Nation Man, who seems to have a bad Russian accent.
And just like a bad name, a bad vibe overall. I personally would not invite Fire Nation Man over to my house for dinner.
Yeah, probs not.
That's just what I mean, I don't think I want to share tiramisu with that guy.
None of them really seem like good company. But
that's not what they're there to do, okay? They're there to fight.
They're there to fight. Knock them out of the ring. This is a true show of what powerful earthbending is like. Sokka just jumps on the bandwagon, like with every person that the Boulder knocks out.
He sees Boulder, he's like, I will follow you to the end of the earth.
My warrior. And Katara suggests to Aang, like, maybe the Boulder's a good teacher. And Aang's like, I don't know. I'm supposed to find someone who listens to the earth, and this guy just listens to his muscles.
And you know what else is kind of off-putting about him? He talks about himself in the third person. Anybody who talks about themselves in the third person, you could probably beat him in a fight. That's all I'm saying.
That's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
So then...
You personally could beat them in a fight. So the Boulder is crushing left and right. Until...
It's time to fight the champion.
You would expect the champion to have some weight or some muscle on the Boulder. But the Boulder... who talks about himself like this, the Boulder asked for a venti.
And what do you know? We see the blind bandit is...
Yes, the Boulder does have his receipt.
The champion, the blind bandit, who supposedly wins every night, is truly a little girl who is blind. Which the Boulder feels very conflicted about.
The Boulder probably goes home and cries about that one. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah, to get repeatedly knocked out by a 12-year-old girl, that sucks.
She's the defending champ.
Yeah. So we get that slow-mo montage going back and forth between the Boulder, Toph, the blind bandit, and Aang's face as he realizes this girl is blind, but she listens to the earth. He obviously can't see the, vibration rings.
But he can tell that she's blind probably quicker than anyone else could at their first, what is it called? Boulder Mania?
Yeah.
Boulder Fest?
It's just Earth Rumble 6.
Earth Rumble, that's what it is. Yeah. Okay. Got the billing there.
So she knocks the Boulder out, no problem. And then Zinfu, the host, is like, is there anyone in the audience who's ready to challenge our champion? And then
Aang's
Aang's
like, yeah, sure.
He's right up there.
And Sokka, bless his heart. Sokka's so incredibly smart in a pinch, but he's always missing the point when it doesn't matter. Because he's like, avenge the boulder, man! And it's like, Sokka, you don't get it, do you?
No, he turns fanboy so fast.
Oh my gosh.
But this is so different. It's a whole new culture. He loves fighting. He obviously has shown that he's interested in learning different styles of fighting. He learned from the Kyoshi warriors. Mm-hmm. He has his trusty boomerang back. He's very invested in learning how other warriors fight.
And now he's looking for a warrior who's not all brawn and no brain. He's looking for somebody who doesn't, toss dirt first and ask questions later.
But,
looking for a more calculated tutor for his tutelage.
I
love that word, tutelage. Can we use that word as much as possible in this podcast?
If you want, go right ahead.
Tutelage.
Okay. So, much to Sokka's and most of the audience's surprise, Toph knocks out the boulder.
And then Aang obviously cheats because nobody's that good, right? Nobody's that good. Fight. It's the next day.
So, it's the next day. Team Avatar sets out to try and track down the Blind Bandit. Mm-hmm. And they run into the two boys that Katara beat up the day before, which is kind of weird. Like, Sokka is like all accessorizing and, I don't know, trying to figure out who he is maybe in the Earth Nation. And Katara is, I think, feeling the pressure. Like, clearly, you mentioned earlier, they have this deadline. He wants to try and defeat the Fire Lord by the end of summer. Uh-huh. And so Katara's like, fine, I'll be a bully if it means that we get the information that we need.
Right.
So they try to intimidate these boys a little bit. They're like, nobody knows who this girl is. She shows up, she fights, she disappears.
Right. So she's like, were these the same people that she had frozen in the first scene?
Yes.
Oh. So that's why they were scared. They knew what she was capable of. They were like, not her again. Oh, no, I can't do that.
Right.
No, yeah, she gets it done when it needs to get done.
Yeah, but the boys are like, no, really, like, nobody knows who she is. So Aang recalls his vision. Is like, in my dream, I saw a girl in a white dress with a pet flying boar. Do you know anyone like that? And we learn of the Beifong family.
Beifong?
Beifong. Who, apparently, they are the richest people in town. They may be the richest people in the Earth Nation. The symbol of their house is a winged boar. But they don't have a daughter.
Not that we know of. Then we cut away to the scene in the in Boulder Mania 6, Boulder Fight 6, Boulder Bout 6, Boulder Fisticuffs 6-a-cuffs.
The show's not about Boulder, though he is a star.
Rock Throw Contest 6. Stop me when I get it right. Earth, Dirt,
Rumble.
Earth Rumble.
Right.
So it's a post show. Everybody's sweeping the popcorn off the floor. Everybody's, cleaning up after Earth Rumble 6, and the bad guys, Earth Rumble guys, are sitting around like, I think he cheated, man. There's no way that I could get beaten by her again, and then she gets beaten by somebody else.
The boulder
that's double the humiliation.
Is suspicious.
The boulder is late for his pedicure. No, but he's like, the boulder suspects some foul play. Somebody's rigged the system.
And they also don't know who the Blind Bandit is, but it's a lot easier to track down the only airbender that exists.
You can smell air bending on the wind.
So meanwhile...
It's a brilliant setup. It's a brilliant setup to create tension in this episode, I think. Because, to set up the reason why they would go after them. It's not an uncommon plot device, but It's good.
It's very Spider-Man.
It's good, yeah.
How'd they do that?
Bonesaw's ready. Raise your hand if you get that reference. Kaylee's raising her hand. I'm raising my hand. You might be raising your hand.
The world may never know.
We love media here on this show. The show is about media. And sometimes we make extra textual references. Extra textual references.
So, fine. The sign of the winged boar is enough for Aang. They track down the Beifong residence. The estate.
A villa.
The estate.
Mm-hmm.
They hop the wall and are immediately apprehended by Toph herself.
And she says, "Why don't you all stay for dinner? You seem like a lovely bunch."
LOL.
She doesn't say that.
It's the first we hear of Aang's new nickname.
What's Aang's new nickname?
Twinkle-toes.
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
He's light on his feet. Which Sokka is like, don't answer to that. That's not manly.
They used to say that about me when I played sports.
Did they?
You're a little light on your feet. Can you believe that, Kaylee?
Were they saying that sarcastically or seriously?
Right, so that's his nickname. Is she going to call him that, like, forever now?
I guess you'll have to see.
Okay.
But yeah, Katara, like, interrupts the whole thing and it tries to explain the situation very concisely. Like, look, what he's trying to say is he's the Avatar. He needs an earthbending teacher because he has to defeat the Fire Lord and end this war.
And she's like, fine, come in for dinner.
No.
Sort of.
She's that's not my business. Leave me alone. And then she calls the guards and plays the role that it seems she plays most of her life.
Which is that she knows less than she actually does.
Yes. That she is the helpless blind girl.
Mm-hmm.
So they get tossed out, but then Aang finds a way around it. He's like, you know what? Toph's not going to talk to me. Then I'm just going to get her dad to invite me to dinner. So he goes, probably. You don't see this scene, but Master Yu, who runs the Earthbending Academy, is apparently also Toph's private tutor.
Mm-hmm.
If you want an opportunity to talk about tutelage again.
Tutelage is a foundation of the institution of learning. Tutelage is the time and the place and the moment. Tutelage is the way we are feeling. Tutelage. It's how you tutor.
So, how dare someone interrupt our family meal, says Mr. Beifong. Who would dare? Well, the Avatar himself. And then, aren't they? They're so honored.
So honored. Why don't you stay for dinner?
And so they do.
Some tiramisu. With my tutelagist.
With the Beifong family and Master Yu.
Mm-hmm.
And they learn through the cross conversation that Toph is a beginner earthbender.
Yeah, Toph doesn't know a whole lot about airbending. Toph is just I'm just a little baby.
I didn't do nothing wrong.
So that sets up a really interesting thing, I think, in the dinner scene. I think we're getting a little taste of, if I may place you under my tutelage for a moment, I think we're getting a little taste of a visual metaphor.
What is this visual metaphor?
So we know how good Toph is at not airbending, earthbending. We know how good Toph is at earthbending. But her family doesn't know. Her tutelagist doesn't even know how good she is at earthbending. It's literally and figuratively under the table. The conflict, because Aang's earthbending and he's earthbending over the table and he's going watcha and he's spilling all manner of soups and salads and breadsticks, and she is going wah and she's using the earth to, like, basically, like the equivalent of stomping on his foot except across the table. And so her mastery is under the table, and I thought that was a cool way to show that visually.
It is under the table, and I never really thought about it in exactly those terms before, though important to note, Aang is not earthbending. He is airbending.
That's what I meant.
And
You know what I
yes,
meant.
I know it's misspeech, but it is fundamentally important to understand that Aang cannot earthbend.
That's why we're here.
Right.
We're trying to figure out the earthbendiness.
And so he gets that little smirk and he super airbender sneezes the dinner everywhere. And then,
Gazpacho flying.
you know, Toph makes it very clear, don't give away my secrets.
Mm-hmm.
But then she comes to them later in the evening.
They're all walking outside in the villa.
And Aang and Toph get to know each other a little bit. Aang kind of explains why he needs an earthbending teacher, and Toph explains why she keeps her mastery of earthbending hidden.
He's like, this is not a pet project. This is like the world's future we're talking about, the fate of the world. And so then after he opens up, she opens up too. She's like, hey, so I'm differently abled, and it is absolutely incredible what I can do. I can hear the ants. I can hear, I can hear you digesting dinner. I don't think she says that, but
She can see with her feet,
she can see with her feet.
which is incredible. And Aang says, you know what? I need a teacher. You can come with us. And Toph is, sad that you guys have so much freedom. You get
She's
to do whatever you
jealous,
want.
Yeah. She wants that life, and she's ready. She doesn't need any more tutelage. She needs a chance to stretch out her legs in a way that's not under the table.
And then you get another glimpse of how much she really can see, because she knows that an ambush is coming.
An ambush! And then they try to run away. They kind of can't. And then the adults come up and they're like, you owe me money. And then back in the day, there was an ad break there. So like back in the day, it was like, I think you owe me money. And then like,
Yes.
Check out the new Super Soaker with a heavy blasting cannon. You'll be waterbending all the way to Tucson. I don't know.
I could be wrong, but it's
Best I could
probably
do.
time for a Floam commercial.
Oh, yeah, Floam. I remember that. Man, do not have Floam in your pockets when you put them in the washing machine.
Oh, no.
Learned that the hard way.
What happens?
Well, everything gets floamed. Everything gets dyed a distinct green or purple. Tutelage.
Oh, my God. So
I had to break up the silence somehow.
So Aang and Toph are captured in iron or steel cages.
Mm-hmm.
That's important for you to remember later. That's all. They get captured, taken
Metal.
away.
I wonder why they weren't like breaking out. You know what I mean? Like why can't Toph just earthbend her way out of the cage? If it was made of rock, she could.
Right, but it's metal.
It's metal. It's
Hold-
made of metal.
Hold on to that.
Okay.
So,
Did I just observe a lot?
yes, you did. It'll come in later.
Probably because I've spent so long under thy tutelage.
Oh my God. So the Beifongs and Katara and Sokka realize that the two are gone. They find the ransom note. Bring 500 gold pieces.
See what I'm saying? Gold pieces. It's the universal. Everybody wants gold. Okay.
So they do. They go to their rescue to the Earth Rumble 6 stadium.
Mm-hmm. And they say, here's your gold.
And they're captured. They throw the gold. They let Toph go. But then, what do you know? Zinfu has other things up his sleeve. He's like, you know what? Now I know this dude's the Avatar. And I feel like the Fire Nation would pay a heck of a lot for him.
That's showbiz for you.
What can you do?
Yep.
So Toph goes to her father. They start to run away. Katara and Sokka cannot earthbend. They certainly don't know how to fight a band of very powerful
And plus,
earthbenders.
Sokka's seeing his literal hero, his icon, that he just decided was his hero about 20 minutes ago. The Boulder. And so he's like, I don't have a chance against
No way.
a boulder.
So they call on Toph. They call on her. And you see on her face, she's having this moment like, am I about to come out here?
She goes Super Saiyan.
Yeah. And her father is literally like, she is a helpless little girl. She is weak and blind, and she can't do anything. And then she's like, yeah, I can.
She can. In fact, she's kind of good at it.
She's kind of awesome at it.
She's kind of awesome at it. And then this fight goes on. We see the gang of earthbenders show up. We've got the Boulder. We've got the Hippo. And then this dude pops out of the ground. I guess he's the Gopher?
It's a good name for him. I don't think they named him in the episode.
Okay, fair. And there's fight.
There's
Fight. You know what's really cool? I want to point something. It's hard to talk about a fight, right? In this podcast, we found it kind of hard to talk about fights other than like, whoa, that was super cool. But I wanted to point out something that we can talk about.
Go for it.
The sound design in the fight. Because the sound design in this fight is so neat, and it employs a device that they have not used, that I think maybe the whole thing with Toph not having sight inspired the sound designer to use this. If you listen during this fight, during periods where Toph is getting the upper hand, you'll hear a high frequency, an almost unmusical high frequency in the score during certain swells, certain whatever, like this. You know that old sound, the sound the old TVs made, like whatever. It's a little below that, but it comes through, and it furthers the experience of, like, you're seeing through Toph's, not eyes, but you're seeing through Toph's perception, and it's somehow extra sensory. That's the vibe that I got. So cool sound design choice, something I hadn't heard yet in a fight. Usually the fights are all like boom, 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 bam, and all that stuff. But I thought that was a really cool decision. And then visually, did you notice the Matrix callback?
I mean, I get that time slows. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they had a little Matrix reference in that fight when some rocks are going past her head, and like time slows, like you said, and it goes whoosh past her head, and I think it was a Matrix reference. I don't know.
I mean, I think you're right about that. And the first time we watched this fight, one thing you noted is like how precise she is. Like, she can show off how much she has mastered earthbending. Because even though she can't see every single person she knocks out of the ring, she knocks them into the pile, the exact same place.
Yes. Like, not only will I kick your butt, but I will kick your butt there. I will send you there. You won't just fly into the side of the stadium. You'll fly into all the other people who tried to step to me. And what's great about her fighting is that she's so good that she's playing for laughs. She's not just trying to survive. She knows she can do that. She's playing to the crowd. She's playing for laughs, just like she did in the first fight between her and Boulder, where she sends the dirt like force beam over and makes him like do the splits.
That looks like a gopher path. She's like,
she
just senses where his foot is, waits for him to follow through, and then trips him.
Yeah, exactly. And to make the audience laugh. And then she hears the laughter. She's like, oh, yeah, I rocked.
And in this fight where they all just like come at her at once, it shows how much people underestimate her because she can't see, but her control over the earth is crazy. Like, waits and listens. You see that? You remember that shot where it's just her hands like rigid?
Yeah.
She waits and then throws up a cloud of dust. It doesn't affect her.
Right.
But she knows I can disable the rest of this crew. They can't see me, but I know exactly where they are. She just takes them out one by one.
Yeah, she's using her disability in the right way there. Yeah.
And then Master Yu declares, she's the greatest earthbender I've ever seen.
And then her helicopter parents say, But that's my darling. No one shall ever see her. No one shall ever know she exists. But people are going to know she exists. I have a funny feeling about that. We go back home. She kicks butt, sends people packing. I'm sure that dude's between his legs hurts. After 2 rounds with Toph. Oh yeah.
Ouch.
Ouchies. So then they go back home to the villa, to the estate, and she reveals, or it's been revealed, I should say. It's been revealed that Toph is a little more than she lets on.
Yeah, and she's like really talking to her father. Like, I know that this is your perception of me. And I think she gives him a lot of credit when she says, you hid me away from the world. And I know that that was for my protection. But like...
Was that fear? Was that fear of him? Or was that pity for him?
I think she understands that her parents pity her for her lack of sight. Mm-hmm. And she plays into that because, yeah, they are hover helicopter parents. She has,
and they obviously have the means and the ends to continue to be helicopter parents despite her will.
Right. And then this moment is really sweet and nice. And she's like finally standing up for herself and just saying, I know that you have this perception of me as this blind girl who can't do anything for herself. But the truth is, I'm a powerful earthbender and I love being an earthbender. Mm-hmm. And I hope that this doesn't change the way that you feel about me. And her dad is like, sure doesn't change the way I feel about you. You've obviously had too much freedom. She was hoping...
Yeah, he completely like 180s.
Like, this should be a moment where she's like, be proud of me. You've been worried my whole life that I'll never be a true earthbender, but you just saw me. I'm a powerful earthbender. I'm a passionate earthbender. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no.
Okay, boomer. So he reacts. He's like, all right, I know how to solve this problem. Avatar, get out of here.
You're not welcome.
Okay, like, that's going to go over really well at book club.
So,
you know?
And you see, like, just a single tear, the single tear.
Oh, always the single tear.
Runs down her cheek. It's nighttime. Yeah. They're packing up Appa. And then out of the darkness comes Toph. Oh, guess what? My dad changed his mind.
Yeah. She'll say what... bottom line is she'll say whatever she needs to fulfill her potential. She has graduated past the tutelage of what's his name?
Master Yu.
Master Yu.
And I think that she could hold it in and be this secret powerful earthbender before the Avatar showed up. But then the Avatar showed up and she finally got to show her family, like, look how good at this I am.
It was a blessing in disguise.
Right. But as soon as that she made the reveal and then she was told you cannot be yourself, well, I think 12-year-old Toph logic said, well, those kids run around on their own, so you don't get to tell me what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. She, you know what's a shame about the English language? I was just racking my brain trying to think of a word for mustered the courage that wasn't as wordy. And I couldn't think of one that wasn't gendered. I was like, I was thinking like, ooh, she got hair on her chest? No. Gendered. She, for me audience, but grew up hair? No.
She's got stones. Gendered.
Like, why though? Why is English like that?
That's a really great question.
maybe it goes beyond the scope of an Avatar podcast, but it struck me just now that I was racking my brain to think of another way of mustered up the courage.
But
a colloquial way, and there doesn't exist one.
It's pointing out something that's very true to this show, though. There weren't a lot of things to watch that were empowering for young girls. Now this is a second teacher who has mastered their element, who is female, who's going to teach the Avatar. It's not just Katara. Now it's Toph too.
You often talk about the empowering effect that this show had on you as a kid. Are you talking about that now?
Definitely. This whole show is that for me. It is the inclusion that I grew up like you did in a generation where I think that we were frequently told, like, long-term relationships, friendships with the opposite gender are really not possible. You can't just hang out with the boys if you're a girl. You can't just hang out with the girls if you're a boy. But this show, to me, spoke truth. They're all friends. Boys, girls alike, and they're treated equally. It's not that Sokka and Katara don't have brother-sister fights that sometimes are gendered, but they confront those issues. And they still treat each other as equals.
And they're not left at the end of any of those fights in a box.
And your strength has nothing to do with your gender in this show. Suki shows that. Katara shows that. Toph shows that. I mean, Sokka could be bested.
Kyoshi warriors.
Right. So it's cool. Yeah. Like to have another girl in the crew. Toph is my favorite character in the whole show, so I'm just super excited she's finally here.
That tells me that we see much more of Toph.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Toph is Team Avatar now.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
And I know that I waffle a little bit with, well, maybe I would be.
Waffle?
Maybe I would be a waterbender because I'm a Cancer and because I just got this UA tattoo. I love all that stuff. But then I see Toph return to the show and I'm like, nah, all I want to do is kick rocks.
And if you take nothing else from this episode, Kaylee just volunteered to kick rocks.
And I hope, know what that means. And I hope if your heart wants it to, that you kick rocks.
Kick rocks all over your earth-bending town. And buy that bag. Because you never know what is going to fit inside.
Because boys can accessorize too.
And I think Sokka is living, breathing, animated proof that a bag can match a belt.
Did Sokka's journey with the bag and the belt in this episode make you think of your most recent birthday present to me?
Kaylee, I got Kaylee a cool purse, I think like now 4 or 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And she's been using it ever since. Ever since. Every outfit, every fit, same bag, same bag, same bag. It's blue. Doesn't matter what she's wearing. Blue, blue, blue. And so, A, that reaffirms the UA tattoo, right? Reaffirms the case for waterbender. And B, sometimes she would wear the bag and it would not be an aesthetically pleasing costuming choice. So then I got her basically the same bag in black. So now, you know, at least you've got like another option, right?
Now I wear the black one everywhere.
Now she wears the black one everywhere.
See, I'm the practical one of the pair of us. Like, if I have deep pockets and the bag that fits the things that I know I carry with me every day, that's all I need. I wear the same shoes with most things. We recently went to Cirque du Soleil, and AJ passionately talked me out of wearing the jean jacket that I wanted to wear because it was comfortable and a little bit chilly.
In hindsight, you probably would have been fine with the jean jacket and a little dress down. I thought we were dressing semi-formal, and I was like, please do not put the jean jacket over the semi-formal jumper, please.
I bent, and he is better at fashion than me.
I'm not the type to say like, hey, honey, get on something nice, you know.
Can you put on that accent again? Put on something nice.
I don't know why that's my default, like.
My wife.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why. According to Jim voice, even though he doesn't even have that voice, you know what I mean. That's an extra textual reference.
Tutelage.
See, I've got her saying it now.
Dang it.
Okay. Well, we'll see where Toph takes us.
Thanks for joining us for The Blind Bandit. Next time, it's an equally interesting episode titled Zuko Alone.
And if I can stand it, I might try to get past that fight in Avatar Quest for Balance. But I don't think I could stand it. It doesn't look good. It looked so good in the trailer.
10 out of 10. Should not buy.
Until then, I'm AJ.
I'm Kaylee.
And you've been listening to Atlas Shrugged.
The Avatar The Last Airbender podcast.
Man, what a hot beat.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba.
Nickelodeon. Bonus track goes here.